Hey, 12th grade, good morning. This is week 3 of online learning. We are at our performance task. And so this week, over the next 3 days, we're going to be working on creating this performance task assessment through Google Slideshow. Normally, the way that this would have worked if we were in a non-virtual reality, we would have these slideshows done as a presentation and you would take a presentation grade. But given the nature of the current situation, the slideshow is going to be a little bit more text heavy and image heavy than I would have liked it to have been. Ideally, what would happen is that when we come back from those 2 days of spring break, which is Thursday and Friday, and when we reconvene on Monday, it would be ideal if we could have some of you share your screens and walk us through your presentation in the best way that you can. We're going to just focus on, for this week, working through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and making sure that we're able to hit the targets and get the information posted into the slideshow. And I will use the 3 days that we have to just kind of check in with everybody individually and in small groups to ensure that you're hitting all the targets for the performance task. So this video is essentially me walking you through the entire performance task so that in case you get stuck at any point, you have this as a reference to go back in and use the video as, wait, what exactly am I supposed to do with this component and how do I tackle this part of the performance task? So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to try to make this just a little bigger. Okay, so the performance task, I did give this to you and we did go through it when we were together in the physical, but it's okay if you forgot, and it's okay if you are like, wait, what is this? That's why I'm going over it with you now. But if when I'm going through it, you're like, wait, I feel like I've seen this before, that's because you were likely in class when I went through this in a live, actual physical setting. So our title of the performance task, E2 Netflix, right? Taken after the famous line from Julius Caesar, E2 Brute. In the overview, it explains just the basis for the entire project. You're going to be choosing your favorite Netflix or TV series, and you're going to draw connections from that series to the themes that are present in Julius Caesar. At first, you're going to introduce how the TV series overall connects to one or two of the concepts from Julius Caesar, and then you're going to draw specific connections between the Julius Caesar play and the episode from the series of your choice. You have to consider, it's important to remember that your thematic statement has to encompass the ideas in the tragedy of Julius Caesar and the episode that you choose, right? So it kind of has two faces to it. I also need you to explain how the TV episode portrays the same theme statement from Julius Caesar by referencing the characters, the conflict, the overall plot structure. You're going to present this through a Google slideshow, and if you would like to include a brief excerpt from the series or the episode that you've chosen, that's totally fine, but it cannot be a slide that has the 45-minute full episode, right? It has to be just a clip or the 5 to 8 minute part of the episode to which you are referring. So the way that this document is broken up is we're going to go through the components. I've lettered them A through F, and I'm going to just walk you through what the component is and then what that would reflect or look like on the slideshow. So first part of this is you're determining a concept or an idea from Julius Caesar that you feel is worth and valuable to explore throughout this project. We made an anchor chart, a chart as a group, and if you were in class, you probably remember like coming up with the concept words. And so I took what we had on the anchor chart and I put it into this document. Some of the things we came up with were betrayal, loyalty, power, corruption, sacrifice, manipulation, persuasion was a big one, self-doubt. So once you decide and they're not limited to that list. There are other things that are concepts in the tragedy of Julius Caesar. So this would ideally be just one slide where you've decided on the concept. You could put the word in big, bold letters if you want, because this is the word that's really driving the entire performance task that you're doing. Then you're going to devise a theme statement that reflects Julius Caesar, or the tragedy of Julius Caesar. So the theme statement is what the author or the text is trying to convey about that topic. And there's a document that we worked through together. Looks like this. And I'm going to include this in the link on the stream, but just a couple of things I want to point out while I have it open. So again, theme is the central message of a literary work. It is not the same as a subject, which can be expressed in a word or two. And that's kind of what I was just saying, like betrayal, loyalty, persuasion. Those are concept idea words. Then you have to pull that word and create a thematic statement. The thematic statement is expressed as a general statement about life or human nature, but it also reflects what the author is trying to convey about that subject in the text that they're writing. So it's the meaning of the work, right? And there's some what a theme is and what a theme is not on this document. Remember, they're not cliches, they're not trite sayings. And then there's some do's and do nots. We have, this is really what I want to draw your attention to, is this component right here. So I want you to think about a theme statement as having these three components. You have the topic or the concept that you're writing about, and then you have the insight or the statement about that topic or concept. But then there's also this other little piece that in 12th grade, I really want you to make sure that you have, and that's called your qualifying clause. It's the part of the sentence that really specifies the theme, idea, and the statement about your topic, okay? So in this example, you have courage as an idea. This is it doesn't have to do with Julius Caesar, it's just a sample. So courage allows people to attempt difficult tasks in their lives. Courage is the topic. The statement about the topic is that it allows people to attempt difficult tasks in their lives. There's nothing wrong with that sentence. That is a thematic statement. It's universal. It's not specific to a certain text. I could apply this idea or the statement about courage to multiple things that I read, see, hear, do. But the tweak here is that the qualifying clause really makes your statement, it gives it that oomph and that power. So even when there is a chance of failing, now my whole theme statement reads as, courage allows people to attempt difficult tasks in their lives, even when there is a chance of failing. That's a little bit more complex, more rich than just courage allows people to attempt difficult tasks in their lives. So I want you to make it really apparent to me that you have that qualifying clause. Some of the ways that you can do that are by including the phrases even though, or even when, or if, or although. If you look on this part of the document, it says use qualifying words in thematic statements such as sometimes, can, may, often. So you have a couple of clue words here to help you if you get stuck. Second example is independence. Independence is the concept or the idea, and the statement about that idea is that independence is necessary to grow up. Again, nothing wrong with that sentence, but let's take it to a 12th grade level, though it can be difficult or scary at times. I don't really like that word scary, but this is a pre-made document. So independence is necessary to grow up, although it can be difficult at times. That's a different statement than independence is necessary to grow up. So I really want you to make sure that you have those three components when you're doing your thematic statement. And I'll check in with you to make sure that your thematic statement has all three of these components and that it's really clear and really sharp and powerful before you move forward through the rest of the project. Okay, so we have one slide where we did our concept. We have another slide where we did our theme statement. Now we're going to start to really make this specific and analyze through Julius Caesar. So this ideally would be 1 to 2 slides in which you take that theme statement and now you track its development through citing and referring to specific moments in Julius Caesar. You should consider the conflicts that have developed. You should consider the characters that have developed. And you're going to analyze and prove how that specific theme statement relates to Julius Caesar. You want to highlight those moments that really bring about the thematic statement that you've landed on, because that's the center of the work that you're doing throughout this project. Then you're going to move to part D. And this would ideally be like 1 slide where you are introducing the Netflix series or the show. It doesn't have to be Netflix. It could be Amazon Prime. It could be Hulu. Or regular TV, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's a series. I want you to talk about the series. Do not give the spoilers to the series. Nobody likes spoilers. Please don't be that person. Okay. So you want to just give a general overview about what this series is about without giving too much, because somebody might see your presentation and might say, "Ooh, I want to watch that show." But if you ruin it for them, then you ruin it for them. So don't do that, okay? And ideally what you're going to do in this slide is just give some overview about the show overall, and then explain how the concept, so if you chose betrayal, and you said betrayal, blah, 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 in Julius Caesar, and here's how betrayal is present in Julius Caesar. This show, Breaking Bad, addresses the idea of betrayal because da-da-da-da-da. And then in your next slide, part E, you're going to zoom into that one moment, the scene in the series that really makes that theme statement pop. So I want you to think about the same way that you did with Julius Caesar. Who are the characters in this episode? What are the conflicts in this episode? What's the plot structure in this episode? And how does all of that help to build the theme statement that you're seeing in the series? So you have, I'm going to just recap. You have determining your concept, creating a theme statement. I'll give you the okay from there to continue the work, because if the theme statement isn't really strong, I don't want you to go forward and not have a clear line of thought, okay? So once you get the okay or the green light, C, connecting the theme statement or the thematic statement to Julius Caesar. Part D, introducing the Netflix series and talk about that concept again. E, zooming into the scene in the series and addressing how the thematic statement is present in that scene. And then part F is this final connection. Why is Shakespeare still relevant today? We looked at a document before you left called 400 Years Later and Shakespeare Still Present in Modern Society in 21st Century. I'm going to include the link to that article in the stream so that you can reference it again. But when we think about like a lot of movies and shows and series, they have these connections to Julius Caesar, and a lot of the things that are out there now are kind of like a twist on Macbeth, or a twist on Hamlet, or a twist on Romeo and Juliet, right? So thinking about how somebody who wrote many, many, many years ago could write something that was still relevant today, I think is an important, worthwhile place for you to kind of finalize your thinking in this unit. And so this is essentially your conclusion slide, which would be 1 slide. There is a reflection slide, but I'm not going to put that in yet, because the reflection questions that I originally created were for you doing this presentation with your classmates. And so because that environment is going to look a little bit different right now because we are virtual, I'm going to tweak the reflection questions. For right now, we're just working on the slideshow parts A through F. I will get back to you with the reflection questions, and maybe we can have a conversation on Monday about what we want that to look like and how we want that reflection process to look. Maybe the reflection process can just be more of a conversation that we have in our virtual meeting time than you typing up a document and submitting it, right? Because I want there to be this reflective lens that you apply to the learning that you did. And I think it's worthwhile for us to talk about that and not just me say, hey, go do this assignment and give it back to me. Okay. So to be determined, but right now we are just taking the time to think about the concept that we want to work on, making that theme statement really powerful and really well developed, and then thinking about the connections to Julius Caesar, and then start browsing through Netflix, start browsing through Amazon Prime. Think about what episode or series it is that you want to showcase in this project, and think about how it really connects to some of the things that we read throughout the course of the tragedy of Julius Caesar. So this is our work for the week. I will check in with you guys every day. We will touch base. I will work with you and give you feedback. If you have any questions in the meantime, email or phone, either is fine. And good luck. I think this will be a really cool project, and I hope that you guys have some fun with it and be as creative as you possibly can. All right, guys, thanks.